Howdy, I'm Cowboy Ken. Welcome to the Drop Zone. I've got a very special guest with me today. His name's Jim Phelps. He's running for Utah County Sheriff. Jim, welcome to the Drop Zone. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Ken.
Outstanding. So, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a retired United States Marshal. I spent 25 years with the service, retired on December 31st so that I could run for the sheriff's office position. Can't be a federal officer and run for a partisan office.
Okay.
And that, had a great career. I'm a lifelong resident of Utah County and spent most of my career working in Salt Lake. I was fortunate to be able to do my whole career here. I was actually born and raised in Utah, and so it was, a fortunate thing that I was able to be assigned here to Utah right off the bat.
Excellent.
Love this county, and that's my whole reason for wanting to run, is my 25 years with the Marshals, the things that I saw in Salt Lake County that are now starting to head down our way are what's really concerning to me.
Oh, wow. So what do you think is the biggest concern for people of Utah County right now?
Well, I don't think we're prepared for the future. We're one of the fastest growing counties in the country. And with the problems that I saw in Salt Lake County, they're not being addressed down here. And so situations like with Rio Grande,
Yeah.
we don't need that in Utah County. And that's something that I saw the mistakes that were made up there from lack of preparation for the future. We have a crime problem that's out of control up there. I see on a monthly basis police officers that are assaulted, and they take the bad guy to jail, and the jail kicks them loose because they're overcrowded.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's the revolving door.
Absolutely. And
so how do you plan, if you were elected, how do you plan to solve that particular challenge?
And that right now, our county jail is only at about half capacity. Its average capacity is about 550. The maximum capacity is 1,100. They say about safely operating it, it's about 1,000. So we're in good position right now, but we need to always make sure that there's room in the end. So we need to start preparing, do a 5-year plan, 10-year plan, 20-year plan. I see in private sector and like with the churches and the schools, they're better prepared at what's happening in the future than most local governments are.
Oh, okay.
And so based on that, I think it's, being prepared for the future and being aggressive on crime right now. If you don't aggressively go after the small things, then the bigger things, grow from that. It's like our gang problem. We have a small gang problem here in Utah County. It was funny because a lot of people say, we don't have much of a gang problem here. And I'm saying, yes, we do. You don't go to your doctor and have them say, well, you've got stage 1 cancer and I'll be back when it's, going to 3 or 4. It's like you need to address it in the beginning.
Nip it in the bud.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And ironically, it was just here a week or so ago here in Spanish Fork, you had 2 Utah County Sheriff's vehicles that were tagged with gang graffiti and fence lines that were destroyed because of the, graffiti that was marked up on that, and a couple of Spanish Fork cars. So, it's if you have graffiti, you're starting to have gang problems, and if you don't address it while it's small, then you're going to end up with the gang problems that we're seeing in Salt Lake, which is a regular shooting, almost a weekly, if not nightly, event up there.
Okay, so why do we vote for Jim? Why do we vote for Jim Phelps over the other guy? Now, he's probably a nice guy, whatever. What makes Jim think he can do a better job?
And that is my experience. I have the broadest experience. I spent 3 years as a gang detective. This was all during my time as the marshal.
Okay.
But I was assigned to the gang unit, worked as a detective. I was then asked to serve on the governing board. I spent 10 years over the governing board and was actually voted to be the chair by my peers. I worked real close with the Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force, working with the DEA. I oversaw the Marshals' participation there, so I'm keenly aware of the cartels that are operating here in Utah. And I have, the knowledge of what is occurring here in Utah County with the drug organizations. we've got cartels that are focusing on Utah County. And we really need to get a handle on our heroin problem and meth problem that we have in this county from both ends, all the way through. I talk with parents that have lost children, to that epidemic. That is horrible. And so we're not dealing and doing enough to combat the drug problem. I work very closely with the Attorney General's office with their secure task force. They go after human traffickers. We've got human trafficking in Utah County. In Salt Lake County, there's over 200, between Salt Lake County and Ogden, we figure there's about 200 businesses that are involved in human trafficking. They're starting to pop up down here. I know how to aggressively go after that. It's not being done now.
So Jim, with all this behind you, over 30 years of doing it already, correct?
Correct.
Why do you want to do it some more?
Joe, I am really concerned. My kids are now getting older.
Okay.
And a couple of my oldest ones just got married. I'm hoping for grandkids down the road.
Okay.
I want my grandkids to be raised in the same type of environment that I was able to raise my kids.
Huh.
Yeah. And if we're not doing things right now, we're going to look like Salt Lake County in 10 years. Every time working in Salt Lake was great. I had fun as a cop. But as a parent, I'd come over the point at night and I think, man, I'm sure glad I'm raising my kids down here.
Oh my goodness, in Utah County, right?
Utah County, and so that's why I want to make sure that our future generation have this same type of an environment.
Okay, that's outstanding. So, if people want to get more information on about you, you've got a website or a Facebook. Go ahead and tell us, and we'll put it on. See, it'll be right about in there. Can you see that?
Nice. I like that.
Right in there.
So my Facebook page is Jim Phelps for Utah County Sheriff, and I would encourage you to look at that one, and then also my personal one, because I never did Facebook until I got involved in the campaign.
Okay.
So they've kind of intermingled, and I've got people that have made comments on both. And I'd like people to go in and look at those comments, because what you're going to see is you're going to see individuals that have worked with me, worked for me, and people that I've arrested. And I think that says a lot. Because I care about
do I really want to see what them guys are saying?
And, do you know what? It lets people know that I care about people all the way through the system, even when they get out of jail.
Excellent.
Because I'm very concerned. I want to make sure that, with those individuals that do make mistakes, if they want to rehabilitate, that we work with them and that we make sure that they try to succeed so that they're not in that revolving door system. So that's my Facebook page. And then my web page is jimphelps2018.com. And if you go in and you look at my issues section, you'll see what my positions are on narcotics, on human trafficking, going after sex offenders, on judicial retention. I think that we have some good judges, but I also think we have some that need to be removed from office. So I talk about that. I'm the only probably person in the country that's running for sheriff that says, hey, I'm going to make you aware of individuals that are judges that shouldn't be sitting on the bench.
Excellent.
And then my position on the Second Amendment, I'm a constitutional sheriff, and I support our Constitution 100%. I appreciate your service. I have the greatest respect for our men in the military, men and women that serve, in all the different branches.
Well, I was going to ask you about that with all the hoopla going on. Basically, Utah's the most conservative red of the red. And we like our guns here. In a very short, concise statement, please tell us what you think, why we have a Second Amendment.
Well, it's a God-given right. I believe that our Constitution was inspired by God, and I believe that our founding fathers put that in there, that it was an inspired amendment. And I support it, and I will defend it like any other sheriff would.
Excellent, and we need that. We got a lot of Believe me, there's crazies out there. The right to life and the right to self-defense, you're right, is God-given. Well, it's coming up. It's in June here, correct? The prime, it'll be mail-in ballots, am I correct?
The ballots will be mailed out, and I'm told they'll hit the Utah County registered Republicans. You have to be registered as a Republican to get a ballot, and it'll be in your box on June 5th. And the postmark date has to be by June 26th.
June 26th, so that's when it's got to be in. Okay, we're close. We're wrapping this up then. So, Jim, here's your spotlight moment. Tell them what you're all about, and convince them that why we should vote for you.
Well, if you want somebody that has the experience, that really cares about this county, I'm the man. I have the experience in every aspect of what a sheriff would do. I didn't even go into details about the responsibilities of a marshal and a sheriff, but they're almost identical. I oversaw our federal inmate population for 3 years. We had a daily inmate count of about 700 inmates, so I can run a jail. As far as law enforcement goes, the things that concern most parents here in Utah County, I have the expertise in. That's drugs, gangs, sexual predators, human trafficking, those type of issues. I'm going to make our citizens aware of...
Now, all of that, dealing with bad guys and bad people, does that rub off on Jim, or are you a people type of guy?
I hope that's made me a people type of guy, because I love people. I think that I'm very easy to get along with. I love it when people call me and say, hey, Jim, I got a question for you, or I've got a problem here and I've contacted multiple police agencies and I'm not getting anywhere. I know how to find the answers and the solutions.
Now, I got to tell you, and full disclosure here, I seen Jim talk at a house full of people, and he said, if you call me, I'll answer my phone. Well, at 9:30 at night, I called him on the phone, and by golly, he answered, and we talked some more. And I said, I just wanted to see if you're really telling the truth, and pick up the phone. Jim, it's been a pleasure.
No, it's an
Good
honor.
luck. Cowboy Ken from the Drop Zone with a good friend of mine, Jim Phelps. That is all.
Thank you.